Hi, I'm Maury Kagan from Kagan Productions, and this is a series I'm hoping to get started where I answer your burning marketing questions regarding crowdfunding, marketing board games, anything related to that. So let's start today with a question from Duncan. Duncan asks, I think every aspiring self-publisher is aware of the need to create a community before crowdfunding, but the struggle is how to gauge how much of your community you'll be able to convert from followers to backers. So there's no question mark here, but obviously there's a question. How many followers do you need, and how do you know they will actually convert? So I love that there's two parts of this question. One is, how do you figure out the quantity of your followers, and the other one is the quality of your followers? Because, you could easily just buy a list of like 10,000 emails and launch with that, but probably nothing will happen. So we need to somehow validate our audience. And there's many ways of doing this. The best way, the cheapest way, let's call it, is using social media. Okay? Social media, once you have a group, you can start communicating with them and seeing how they're engaged with you. But will they be notified? Will they know that you've launched? Well, there's a few question marks here because social media works in mysterious ways and you never know if the algorithm will just be against you. That's why the best way to get your audience's attention and to let them know that you've launched is email. So you want to gather as many emails as you can. And Andrew Lowen from Next Level Web also commented about this. Their data clearly show that email is king in this world. So whether you've been running Facebook ads, meta ads, or gathering information at conventions, you always want to narrow it down to this email. But now comes the question, it's like, well, how do I know? Well, will they remember me? Will they even, do anything? Do they even read their emails? So there's ways to test that. You don't want to spam your audience too much, but once in a while, you can send an email blast to all of your audiences, giving them some sort of call to action. Following a Facebook page, liking a BGG post, or a poll. Okay, that's the best way to do it. Giving them a poll of saying, I'm trying to decide between this image and this image for this card. Your audience loves to be a part of the creation process of the game. That's one of the appealing things about crowdfunding. So giving them the chance to have some agency will also help them be more excited for it, will feel more connected to it, will make them feel part of a tribe since they had some input on the final product. But most importantly, it gives you that clue of how engaged your audience is, and at least a number that you can somehow follow. The other ways are really to just give them a few more hurdles to backing you. So one example would be what LaunchBoom does, that they have a landing page where you can sign on to follow, but then there's another layer. It could be a VIP $1 thing, or it could be something else, but just giving them another hurdle to cross through just to show their level of commitment. It could be an invitation to follow a Facebook group, like I said before, or a Discord channel. And that added obstacle shows you how committed they are and how genuinely they're excited for your product. Another thing to note is anyone that you meet at a convention is automatically higher quality than someone that came to you randomly from somewhere else, because this person has met you face to face, has seen the game, has gotten perhaps the best pitch possible of how great this game is. So they should feel the safest to back you. And if they've given you their email in person, that is like the best permission to not only bug them like with the email blast with everyone else, but you could literally reach out to them personally. Hey, remember when we met at the convention? I'm so excited to tell you that we've actually launched. So it's a little bit more legwork, but you have, in a sense, more permission to talk to them about this. The thing you want to be careful is basically your own fears and insecurities. A lot of people feel icky about being too pushy or nagging people or something like that. No, but it's exactly the opposite. People want to know. They signed on. They gave you that initial permission to bug them. And we're so busy with our day-to-day lives. Ask anyone who's launched a Kickstarter or a GameFound the day after it closes. If there isn't like a late pledge button, they will always be flooded by messages of people saying, "Oh my God, I missed it. I forgot it. Why didn't I know? I didn't get the email," or something like that. It always happens. So you need to be a little bit more proactive in reaching out to that high quality audience. Now let's go to the second part. How do we measure the quantity of people that we need in order to fund? So I made a nifty little tool called the Crowdfunding De-Risking Calculator. This is a lazy tool, let's call it. I don't like very big, complicated spreadsheets. That it's too much for me to handle. I love things simplified and easy. So I've literally curated everything you need to know, how many followers you need to gather, into 3 parameters. The first one is the minimum print run. So how many followers, So the first number, and I hope you've done this, you should have at this point reached out to manufacturers to figure out how much does your product even cost, and what would be the minimum viable print run for this to start a viable business, a sustainable business. So you could plug in here, the bare minimum amount, 1,000 units. You usually want to go higher, okay? And if you really want to be on the safe side, you would go 5,000, but in this case, let's go with 2,000, okay? This sounds like a safe bet for a completely new game. You'll probably make your money back, but it's a little hard to make a profit with 2,000 units. But let's see what happens. So it's 2,000 units. Cost per unit, remember, the higher you go, the lower the cost is, but in this case, let's just take $10. And the base pledge price. The rule of thumb here is I want to take the worst case scenario. What happens when we really stretch this to the limit? Okay, we have the minimum amount of backers. We take the most basic version of the game without deluxeifications or any add-ons, and we look at the worst conversion rate possible. So data shows us, as Kickstarter mentioned this a few times, and also Andrew Lowen shared his numbers. They usually see between 10 to 30% conversion rate of your followers throughout the entire campaign. It can sometimes go higher, it can sometimes go lower if you didn't do the quality things that we talked about before, but you can pretty much bank on 10% to back you. So let's make sure that we're getting those 10% within the first day. How do we do that? We make sure that we have 10 times the amount of followers. So for a 2,000 print run, costing $10 each, being sold for 60, that's a print run cost of 20,000. That's the amount we want to reach to. And we're only talking about the print cost because that is like the basic level of what we need to do to make this product. Obviously, there's so many more expenses that go onto it, but again, we want to get to this within the first day. So it's 20,000. Number of backers needed at this price point is 334. The amount of followers, just multiply by 10, is 3,340. That's the number of followers we want to strive for. You obviously want to go beyond that, but you can know that if you've made it beyond 3,000, you de-risked the product, the campaign. You're most likely going to fund if you have an engaged audience. Okay, remember the quality side of it. Can't just be random people, and then everything starts working for you because you fund really fast. Okay, you get to that 20,000. You can even do a lower funding goal in this case if you know you have the numbers, and then your campaign looks healthy. It looks like it could be trusted. It looks like there's an engaging audience that I want to be a part of, and the algorithm likes it, so it starts pushing up your campaign also on the Kickstarter or GameFound page. So this is the process which I've really simplified it, because then you just have one target number to aim for. And obviously, if the numbers change, you can reapply this and see what happens. I'll link this calculator below so you can do it yourself. And that's my answer to this question. Okay, quality and quantity. Make sure you do both and keep an engaged audience and help them keep excited. Radiate trust outwards, and you will get there. So if you have any other questions, sound them off in the comments and I'll answer them in the next video. Thank you so much.